Hello. Welcome to the Skeins of Dreams Knitting Podcast. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. I have been trying to record for a while and it hasn't been going too well. There's a lot that I'm doing and I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed. Just sitting and coming up with a format for the video that's just like just me. Like, I have done over 50 episodes of just me sitting and talking to the camera, and that's what I thought I would do, but I don't know, I wasn't getting too inspired to do that, and I decided that maybe I can break this down for myself and do it in chunks and little chunks of me talking about different crafts throughout the day, and then somehow bring all of these videos together. So you're getting a very unfiltered view into my crafting life at home. I have not bothered cleaning up my house or anything, and I have a stack of finished objects here, and I really wanted to talk about them because a couple of them are gifts, and then they'll be out of the house and it'll be difficult to take videos of them and all of that. So I thought I should, before I overthink the situation, just come and share some of the things I've finished. And I've been doing a lot of crafting. I've been knitting, of course, and I've been sewing garments. I have been keeping you updated about that. I have been quilting a lot. A lot of my friends are pregnant, and I decided that the best thing to do would be quilt for them, because knitting blankets, I did that like last year. I knit and crocheted 2 baby blankets, and it took me all summer, and I felt like quilting would be way quicker. And I got really interested in quilting, straight lines, brainless kind of a situation. I don't make my quilts too complicated, but I really enjoy playing with colors. So I did some quilting, and then I have started spinning again. I had been spinning last year. I bought my e-spinner last year, but when the Tour de Fleece started, I joined our little group chat on Instagram, and we're called Fleece Force. And there are a lot of people in the chat, and we've been talking all about spinning, and everyone's yarn making journeys have inspired me, and I have taken up this 30 minutes at least of spinning every day. Just to, I have a lot of fiber stash. I do want to eventually spin fiber to make enough yarn for a garment for myself. So I have been doing that, and so I was sitting here literally with my coffee and some pretty little fiber, and I thought it would be nice to just record a video while I'm doing this, instead of making it a whole other task I have to do for the day. Today is Sunday, July 14th, I think so, yes. And I'm not sure when the video will go up. I've been realizing that I post a lot of my videos on Sunday, and the algorithm doesn't really like that, or for whatever reason, my view count has been going down. And I'll be honest, I didn't start out the podcast with the view that I need to have a certain following, or that was not the goal, but the metrics really gets to you eventually. And me being an engineer by profession, data is I live for data, so it's really hard for me to sometimes not look at the numbers and remind myself why I do this. And I do this because I love to craft, and I like to share about my crafting, and sometimes the data can get overwhelming, but then the idea is to take a break and get to a point where I no longer care about it and then go back to making the videos, because there is something about making these videos and interacting with everyone. It brings me a lot of joy, and the videos also serve as a video journal for all my crafting, because pictures and Ravelry notes or whatever other form of journaling my crafts doesn't always seem to be enough. So there's always room for talking about them. so yeah, I decided I would do this, and if I keep spinning and chatting with you, I'm probably going to ramble a lot. So I'm gonna stop and actually share a few finished objects. I have 3 knitting finished objects and then 1 quilting finished object. I do have other things, I'm sure, but I'm gonna find them wherever they are in the house. That's the other thing. Everything is like stored in a different location in the house, and then by the time I bring everything together, sit and record, it becomes like this whole production, and I'm not in the mood for production today. Okay, my first, maybe should I do them in order? Okay, I'll do them in order. So my first finished object is actually my Lotus Lake tee. This is a beautiful design by my friend Anina of the Anioti Knits podcast. I made this in Sandness Garn Lena in this ochre yellow color. It looks beautiful. I love the lace details, and I know I'm sitting and quite far from you, but hopefully the mic is doing its job. So yeah, so the lace is this beautiful detail, and it has like an I-cord bind off at the end. It's like a modified drop shoulder. You start with the back, like you cast on and start with the back, then you knit till under the arm, and then you pick up the fronts. Do you pick up the fronts, or you, I think I may be wrong, but I think you're supposed to start the front separately and then mattress stitch the back to the front, but I don't believe I did that. I definitely picked up for the shoulder and then started doing the front separate, like, you know, as part of the back, and then you join and then you do the body, and at the end of the body you have the lace. So all in all, this is a beautiful, beautiful garment. I'm gonna put pictures or b-rolls of me wearing the thing, and on cue, by the way, I'm podcasting and the cat is going crazy, so he's making all the noise. I had signed up to be a test knitter for this last year, which is when it was released. I started this project July 1st, 2023, and I was a terrible test knitter and I did not finish. And this year, I had this at the back of my mind that I really wanted to finish this garment. And I never feel like working on summer garments in the winter. And then it was when I was wearing another Sandness Garn Lena top that I had made last year that I realized how much I like the yarn, and it makes for a really nice summer garment. And I was like, you know what, I have to get this out and finish it. So I'm so happy that I finished this, and literally it's like 1st July 2023 I started this, and I think I finished it right before 1st July 2024. So it took me 1 year to make this garment, by the way. Yeah, so this is a very beautiful tee. I don't have a lot to say about this. Anina is also designing the sweater version of this, and I'm definitely going to knit that. The lace was so much fun to knit, and it made knitting the body so quick. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Lately I've been getting stuck on Body Island, and I really enjoyed having the lace be like, I don't know, 35 rows, and you get to it really quickly, and then the lace is so potato chippy that you have to finish. So that's the one thing. And then just yesterday, I washed and blogged my test knit for Elizabeth Margaret, who is part of the One Wild Designs. And this tee is called Sappho's Love. and I'll put it on the screen here. So this is pretty much the first time. Oh, and I have not woven in all my ends, so I don't know, I will do that today sometime. So this is pretty much the first, maybe I've done satin sleeves before, but I don't know, this is the first top down satin sleeve that I've done in a while, and I really liked this tee's simplicity. Like, it's a very staple garment, and it has the satin sleeve and everything, and I really love that neck detail. I will say that I used Katia cotton cashmere for this garment, and I will say that because I used cotton, a lot of the decreases, shaping, everything is so visible in this yarn. Like, you can see exactly where I picked up stitches, and then if there is a loose stitch, you can see the loose stitch, which is a little bothersome to me, but I think I'm gonna go in and try to finish it from the end, like try to make it even as much as possible, but then at the end of the day, I'm not gonna worry too much about it. But I do think that the light color, along with the cotton yarn, and with a lot of shaping in this garment, because it's meant to fit you really well, you can see everything. And it's a little annoying to me, but like from a distance, of course, you can't see anything. So if I'm wearing this on my body, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to notice. But if I show you like bit, like, you know, if I zoom in to like certain places, you can see where the stitches are loose, you can see where the decreases have been done. Yeah, but all that to say, the garment is beautiful. The yarn is actually very nice. I love the drape. This is like 90 cotton, 10% cashmere, and it wasn't very hard to knit with. I did use a bamboo needle for it, and the gauge is like 22 stitches. I want to make this again because the original sample is with full sleeves, and I would like to make it in wool and make a full sleeves version. I love this scoop neck detail. Maybe when I make it with wool, I won't do the rolled hems. It's all supposed to be rolled hems. So you do like a purl row, and then you just do stockinette, and then you bind off in stockinette, so it rolls the hem a bit. The one major modification I had to make was, and I never realized this on raglans, because you end up knitting raglans, you check the yoke depth and all of that, and you end up knitting them to the desired depth for your body. But I am tall, like I'm little over 5'8", so my armhole depth for my size is longer than what the schematic suggested, and I had to increase the armhole depth. And then one viewer suggested very kindly that I should keep in mind that if my armhole depth is higher, I need to follow instructions for the correct armhole depth, otherwise my sleeve cap will not be sufficient. And I then followed the size or the instructions for my size. The armhole depth was supposed to be 8 inches, and 8 inches, I knit to the 8 inches and I put it on me, and I was like, there is no way this is gonna fit me. So then I made it 10 inches, and then I had to follow instructions for the size which had the 10-inch armhole depth, which was fine. But then the thing is, for the larger size that had the 10-inch armhole depth, the bicep was bigger as well, and I didn't need as much material. So I needed the length, but I didn't need the width. So then I had to do extra decreases while I was doing the sleeve cap, but I don't think I did enough. So the sleeve is a little loose-ish, and it folds a little when I put my arm down, but you know, even ready to wear has folds that, like, you know, come there. But I would like my handmade garments to have better fits. So next time, and I did say this last time, that this was going to be my trial run with satin sleeve, and I want to get to a point where I have a recipe with satin sleeve similar to the way I do my raglans, and I would like to try this pattern again. and then correct for all those sleeve issues that I tried to fix in this one, but I don't think I did them all the way through. And I know I can rip them back and do them again, but there's just, I don't know. I'm okay with the way it is, and I don't feel like doing it on this one, especially with the yarn being so you can see everything on it. So I want to try it on another one where if I rip back and knit again and all of that, it doesn't make for too many visible issues. I did wash it, so it's gotten a lot better, and I'm going to put a picture of me wearing it and also a small video that I took. I hope I took a video. I think I did. So you're gonna see this on me, but this is my Sappho's Love Tea, and I'm pretty happy with it. Like, it was an experience doing this end sleeve and trying to make it fit me. And next time I don't think I will do a 10-inch armhole depth. I don't think I need 10 inches. I think I need like bit around 9.5 maybe. So I do think I went overboard and made too long of an armhole. So anyway, that was my saga with this. I did finish it just yesterday, and it just in time for the test knit. It hasn't released yet, the pattern. It's supposed to release on the 25th of July, but it's not like a secret test knit or anything, so I'm allowed to talk about it with you. This is the first time I knit Elizabeth Margaret's designs, and and her designs are very similarly written to Jennifer Parasini's designs, who I test knit for and have knit, and she's a friend of mine because I see her every other week because I have her over for like a knit night on every other Friday. So so yeah, so I am pretty used to reading their patterns. Their patterns are pretty lengthy. Every step is explained, but in the beginning when I started working from those patterns, I used to have a lot of trouble keeping so many instructions in mind, but now I've gotten into the habit of printing them out and actually marking and making notes. And I'm not always in the mood to read such an extensive pattern, but sometimes I like to be told what to do because I want to switch off my brain. So it's a little bit of both, depending on how I feel. I may or may not knit one of their patterns, but they're very good, as in they handhold and they tell you a lot of details. But then if you're looking for a very sparse 2-page pattern, then that's not the pattern that they give out. So I really enjoy knitting, and they are very fit focused, so they really want the garment to look good on you. So I enjoy doing that bit. I have never done bust darts. I've never needed to do bust darts, in my opinion, for my size in their patterns, because they give bust dart options, but I feel like I fit in that size 5 pretty perfectly. But I'm gonna try doing a bust dart once sorry, and see if it makes it better somehow. Anyway, I talked about that a lot. Moving on. I made a baby sweater. This is the flax sweater pattern. I held 2 colors together. You can see it's pink and chartreuse. I held them together. This was just superwash yarn in my stash, and one of my friends, she's due Labor Day weekend, and she was worrying that there aren't enough sweaters out in the stores now. and she was worrying that her baby will be cold, but it's like so warm right now, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but maybe babies feel extra cold, maybe. So I ended up whipping out a quick sweater for her, and I'm gonna give this, she's a knitter as well, but she's not as insanely obsessed as I am, and she's knitting beautiful colorwork cardigans for her. It's a girl, it's gonna be a girl, or it is a girl already, but yeah. So I knit a small flax. I did not do the garter detail. I do not like the garter detail on the flax, in all honesty, but I appreciate the size ranges, and I just used the numbers and did this cute little thing. Super wash yarn, so can be put in the wash. I do want to knit another one, maybe a cardigan for her, and because she's a knitter and she herself is knitting with a lot of non-super wash yarn for the baby, so I think I'm gonna use one of my leftover non-super wash yarns and make her another cardigan. They live in Pittsburgh, so I see them quite frequently, so I can give them a gift whenever I feel like. So yeah, so that was a quick baby sweater. And then this is the same friend I made a quilt for, and I'm gonna try and show this to you. It's a 60 by 60 inch quilt. I bought the fabric from one of my favorite fabric stores, online fabric stores, called Hawthorne Supply Co. They do a lot of fabric collections, or if you pick up fabric, they can tell you what are the coordinating colors. If you can look for prints by colors, and I love that store mostly because the color range and options are insane. And I got this set of fabric from them, and then I figured out how to do a trip around the world quilt for the size I needed. I did some quilting math, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. Hold on. I only did simple straight line quilting. I prefer doing straight line quilting like as simply as possible. And oh my god, look at the mitered square, or the mitered corner, sorry. I'm so pleased with it. The backing is just this pretty pink fabric from Joanne. And I have to show you something. So I have been attaching these small tags on the quilts I make, and I am so pleased with these. They just say Skeins of Dreams. Yeah, I'm so happy with how this quilt turned out, and I think this is a good child size. It's not just a baby size quilt. It's a 60 by 60. When I was sitting and hand sewing the binding together at the end, I had this on my lap, and I would say that it's a pretty good adult throw quilt as well. So I'm very, very pleased with how this turned out. And I'm making, and okay, so right now I've just done my finished object, so I'm gonna do another video on my whips. Not another video as in like I'm gonna record that at some point today and put it along with this one, but I have 2 other quilts that are going on parallelly, maybe actually more than 2, but I'll only talk about the 2. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the straight line quilting and the straight line piecing and everything, and it's been a lot of fun. And I can see a straggler thread. So I'm meeting this friend today most likely, so I'm gonna gift her the quilt and the baby sweater. I'm gonna make more baby sweaters for her and give them at a later date. I mean, it's not gonna be properly winter for another 4 months, so there's some time. But yeah, that has been everything. And actually in finished objects, I should show you the yarn that I spun up and plied, and I have plans for that, so I made it for a project. I'm trying to not spin yarn just for the sake of, though just for the sake of spinning is also fine, like there's nothing wrong with that, but I am a knitter, so I do want to knit with my hands spun. So I'm trying to plan out properly some projects and then spin with a project in mind. So I'm gonna get to that. But right now my coffee is gone cold, so I'm gonna continue spinning for a while and enjoying my coffee, and then I will record the rest of this video later. So I have been into making these utility carts for myself for crafting. So, and by the way, I bought a new Ashford eSpinner 3. Don't ask me. I don't know what's happening with me, but I'm into all the crafts at the same time. So I made this small utility cart for spinning and then another one for fabric cutting, mostly because all my supplies are always in like random locations and then I'm always hunting them. So this is also holding a drop spindle that I'm spinning on, and there's my, is that the lazy Kate? Yes. I forget which is the lazy Kate and which is the lazy Susan frequently. Yeah, this is actually some Falkland merino from John Arbon, super fine merino that I'm spinning up. I've never spun with merino before and it's so slippery, but I'm enjoying it. And yeah, I have, and there, by the way, there's a cat inside that box, just in case you were wondering. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is I started very tiny beginnings of the Aura vest. This is a pattern by Irene Lin, and I had mentioned that I wanted to cast this on in my previous episode, and I just about started, and you can see the tiny lace here. This is Dye Gilpin Lowland DK. I bought this at the Knitting Loft when I was in Toronto and I really like the color, and this is a vest, so I think this will be really cute to wear with like dresses or just over a plain shirt or something. And I've really wanted to knit an Irene Lin pattern, so that is one of the first things I cast on. I don't have a lot to say about it because as you can see, this is like a really tiny cast on right now. And then I also cast on my condiment pink velvet. This pattern is by Andrea Mowry, and Selma, Mel and I cast this on a call together. We had plans to, we all had separately decided that we wanted this sweater. Sorry, my hair is getting stuck in my lip balm. We all had separate plans to make the sweater, and then when we realized that we all want to knit the sweater, we thought we would start it together. And so I did cast on mine, and there's not a lot done again. I was thinking this would be a very ketchup and mustard, and maybe on camera it is looking a little like that, but this looks a lot greener in person, I would say, than yellow, and I think I'm happy with it. I think this will make for a really nice, very striking for sure, but I think it'll still make for a nice sweater. For this I'm using Pearl Soho Good Wool in the Roma tomato color for my main color, and then this is just a single skein of mohair I have left over from a project, and this is by Spun Right Round, and this is the buggy. It's a mohair silk and I'm holding it double. You can see I've double stranded it. But yeah, like I'm pretty pleased with how the color work's turning out. This pattern does have a lot of increases in the beginning, then you knit the colorwork chart for a while, and then you do a lot of increases towards the end of the colorwork chart. I have cast on the smaller size than my full bust. My full bust would be around, I would make like 48 to 50 inch full bust final garment, but I think I cast on the size smaller, like the 43 or the 44 inch for my shoulders. And then I plan to add raglan increases after the yoke so that I can adjust for the bust measurement so it'll fit me better on top. I'm experimenting, so we'll see how it turns out. I'd like to get more of this done. I've just not been in a colorwork mohair space. It's been quite warm, and I feel like that the heat has kind of impacted how much knitting I'm getting done. Like unless I'm sitting in front of a fan or like in a highly air conditioned room, I just don't feel like knitting. Especially like mohair, like even like the smaller projects, I just feel like it's a lot. And then I finished my second half and half triangles wrap a while ago, and then I was really craving another garter project, and I started this. Basically it's a triangle at this point. There is no pattern for this. I have this beautiful yarn that I purchased at the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival. This is by a local farm stand. It's, I think, wool and mohair blend of some sort. It has very beautiful colors. So I decided that I would just start and like knit a huge triangle, and then at the end of that I'll see if it's nice enough for a triangular shawl. Otherwise I'll knit the second corner, like I'll decrease. So I'm increasing to the triangle right now, and then I'll start decreasing on the other side with a different yarn perhaps. And while I'm knitting this, I'm suddenly getting the idea that maybe if I get a good contrasting hand spun, that might be a nice thing to do, is have half of it be the Vermont farm yarn and then the rest of it be like my hand spun. It has beautiful grays and mustards and reds, and I feel like this just plain garter is a very nice display kind of, you know, it's showing the yarn really well. So I'm pretty pleased with it. It's very nice to knit with. On my Ravelry page, I've just given the basic increases I've done. I'm kind of doing yarn over increases, so it's forming like a, I don't think, oh yeah, okay. So it's forming these yarn over increases at the edge, and yeah, I'm liking that. I'm doing that on both sides. So I have marked the right side with this stitch marker, and on the right side I increase along both the edges, and then on the wrong side I just knit. So yeah, I've started a garter triangle basically. I'm enjoying knitting on this, and I've actually put this in my work bag. So at work, if I get like even not even half an hour, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I add a row. I haven't worked on it quite a lot. I did start it when we were driving to New York City in May, and I forgot to mention it in the last podcast of mine, and I did use this as my card knitting, so that's when I cast this on. But I'm very happy that I've got a long-term garter project basically. Then I have a test knit I'm doing for Nina, my friend. She is going to release a children's pattern, and she made this sweater for her son, and she then decided that she would write it up. I'm knitting the 1-year-old child's version, and I have decided to give this to my neighbor who in December became a grandmother for the first time. And so basically the baby's birthday is December sometime. I'm thinking I'll finish it and then just gift it to the grandma, and she can give it to her daughter whenever she feels like. So this is how the sweater is looking. It has a texture stitch every so often. I did use a variegated superwash yarn, and which has muffled the texture a bit, but I still like the effect. But I do have plans to knit more versions of these, and I'll next time pick a plain yarn so the texture is visible. But this yarn actually has lasted in my stash forever and ever. This is Madeline Tosh, I don't know, some base of DK, and this color is copper pink. and I was obsessed with this color at some point. I bought like a whole bunch of it. I knit a huge cardigan for myself and it did not fit me because I estimated that it being a superwash yarn and I was knitting an adult cardigan, that it would grow and it would become much bigger than it needs to be. So I basically knit a smaller size, anticipating it to grow, and it didn't grow. And it became too tight. Like I had to like pull it on my arms. It was really tight. Basically my arms were looking like sausage casings, whatever. So I gifted it to a friend who's smaller than me, and she's able to wear it because I couldn't find the space in my heart to actually rip it all out, because it was a beautiful cardigan that I knit. And then I was left with a bunch of this, not naturally because I knit a smaller size and I bought enough. I was left with a bunch of this, and then I've knit 2 children's sweaters and whatever was left already, and I have 2 balls of this left, and I'm thinking I can get a 1-year-old child's sweater done in these 2 balls of yarn that are left. And Oreo has decided to be a star in this entire episode. He's being really clingy lately. I have no idea what's going on. I play with him, I give him attention, and he's just being super sassy pretty much. Oreo is like my shadow. He follows me everywhere. Mango is more like a teenager. He doesn't care as long as he gets fed on time. He doesn't always care. But Oreo is like, if wherever you are, I'm with you. It reminds me of this advertisement in India for Vodafone, or the Hush Puppy. I don't know if you know about the Hush Puppy. Did that advertisement come everywhere? It was like a puppy that just like follows you everywhere. The point was that the phone networks will follow you everywhere. This was when getting signals on your cell phone anywhere possible was like still a new thing. Anyway, so this guy is my Hush Puppy. But yeah, that being said, this yarn has lasted forever pretty much, and I am now knitting a child sweater in it. Oh, I never mentioned the name of this sweater is Kuusamo, I believe. I do not excel at Finnish names. So I'm supposed to be done with this like beginning of August sometime. I'm sure I'll finish it in like 3 days, the moment I like fix my mind to it. I'm at the point where I have to divide, almost at the point where I have to divide for sleeves, so which is what is like the admin things sometimes take me a day or 2 to get to them. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this, and I will definitely make more. It's a very, very straightforward, simple pattern. I like having some kids patterns in my library, so I can like decide based on the yarn that is available and the gauge I want which one to knit. So next time I'm thinking I could do like the texture in like a contrast color. Maybe that'll be cute. It'll be a stripe, but also like a fun stripe which has texture. So I'll try. We'll see. Okay. I feel like I'm rushing through all of these, but they're all like in early stages of getting anything done on them. So I don't have a lot to say about them. They're all works in progress. So here are the 2 skeins I actually spun up and then plied. I already washed them. This one I didn't end up winding too well. This is a lot more cleaner. But this is from Dark Lake Fiber Art, and it's the colorway is called Hazy. It's a lot of peaches and grays, and I really like it. And I'm thinking, because I have 2 skeins and they're pretty similar, I feel like this one may have a little more gray than peach, but that's probably because I didn't skein this up nicely. I'm gonna make the Sophie Shawl is what I'm thinking, because I have 2 skeins. It's about, I want to say worsted DK kind of 2-ply, and I'm gonna make the Sophie shawl, and I'm planning to alternate skeins. So today I'm gonna like wind this. And then I balled up my hand spun. I have 2 skeins of this beautiful yarn that I made. I'm calling it beautiful. A beautiful fiber that I spun into yarn. This was the first project I started pretty much for Tour de Fleece. It was not the first project, but it was the first one that I actually finished spinning 2 full braids and then plied and everything. So I started a Sophie shawl and I am obsessed. This is why nothing else is getting done, because the last 2 days all I have done is knit on this. I am loving the color changes so much, and I tried to take a picture of this for Instagram and it does not look like it looks in real life, and I think right now it looks really good in this lighting because it's like after work, so it's in the evening now. There isn't a lot of sun, so you can actually see the colors. I am so happy with this. This is really cute. I don't think I spun both the skeins like similarly. There's a little, the second skein came out much better than the first one, but I'm currently knitting the first skein and then the second half will be the second skein. Initially I thought I'll like alternate the skeins and I'll alternate the strands of yarn, but then I kind of wanted to see the progression because this is the first time I tried a fractal spin. I'm not gonna get into what a fractal spin is because I'm not sure everyone's interested in the spinning stuff. So I tried a fractal spin for the first time and I kind of wanted to see what the color changes look like, and I am obsessed. This is so cool. So what I'm gonna do, I weighed the 2 skeins together before I started, and I have 206 grams. So I'm not using the suggested needles. I picked a US 6 because my skeins, my spinning and then the 2 plying has resulted in somewhat of a DK weight yarn. So I'm using US 6 instead of the suggested US 8 and worsted. I'm using US 6 and DK, and I'm gonna knit till I have 106 grams left. So not exactly halfway, but somewhat. And then I'm gonna do the decreases because someone was saying in one of the episodes I was watching that maybe the decreases take up more yarn than the increases do because they used up more yarn to end their shawl than the increase portion. I forget whose podcast I was watching. But anyway, so I'm gonna leave like 6 grams extra for the decreases and I'm hoping that works. But this is I'm obsessed. Like I have to finish this and see how the whole thing looks. There is this joy of me actually having made the yarn, and the whole reason I had kind of slowed down on spinning was I was making all this yarn that I didn't see what to do with it because it took me a while to stop buying the crazy colors and then actually buy colors that I could actually use. And even this was just 2 skeins and I'm like, you know what, I should make a simple scarf. and I was not going to make a rectangular boring scarf. So I'm very pleased that I'm making the Sophie Shawl. I have this pattern because I purchased it and made like a Sophie Shawl for a neighbor last December. I gifted it to them because they invited us over for Christmas, so I knit her a Sophie Shawl, and then I knit it in Cascade 220 in like a winter white color, and she wears it a lot and she really likes it. She wore it a lot, at least the rest of the season, after I gave it to her for Christmas. But this is mine, so I'm so happy with this. It's worked out very well, and it does smell a little sheepy. I'm super pleased with it. I did the whole thing. I plied it, I washed the yarn, and then I set the spin, I dried it, did the whole thing. And then after knitting, I'm gonna wash it again, and then I'm gonna see if some of the stringy bits open up a little, because I do have some overspun sections and I do have some underspun sections. Like you can see there's some fluffy stuff happening here, but I don't mind. It's pretty. I love it. Yeah, that was a lot of little projects, but this is the space I'm in. I don't want something super heavy on my lap, but I do have the Sweet Shop blanket, which I have been sort of knitting on now and then on the side. It sits in a basket just by my couch, and sometimes I pick it up and I add a square, and then I work on it. I have slowly been working on this blanket. I only have 16 squares done. I think I added 2 squares this week, and I'm working on the 17th square. I guess I'm starting a new row. I'm really enjoying this. This is my in-between garter project, and it's turning out really nicely. And I know I could have done more with the color placement, but I really enjoy the fact that these are all just skeins of yarn that I had no plans for. And very promptly there is a cat on the blanket. Hi, Oreo. But yeah, this is my Sweet Shop blanket, and super happy with how it's going. This one does not have a lot of pink now that I realize. It's okay. Oreo. Okay, he's just like planning to take a nap on the blanket now at this point. Yep, and on cue. I'm at my sewing machine right now, and I'm gonna show you a new quilt that I'm working on. This is the beginnings of it. I'm just kind of building out a log cabin till it becomes big enough. It's a baby quilt, so I think I'm gonna aim for another 60 by 60 inch. I'll see how much I get out of it. I had purchased these fabrics, the printed ones, from Hawthorne Supply Company again, but I didn't like how dull they kind of were for a baby quilt. So I went to Joanne and I bought some coordinating solids in 4 colors. Like I got, where's that? I got white and the this, I guess, aqua, yellow, and then the blue. And I think that'll perk up the quilt quite a bit. So I'm gonna add some more. They are 3-inch strips. I cut everything into 3-inch strips except the center block, which is a 10 by 10 inch. And I'm just gonna keep going out and out and out, and we'll see how big this gets. this is how much I've done today. It's now 44 inch by 44 inch. So yeah, I have a few more strips to add. Okay, so this is another work in progress quilt. My best friend who lives in Dallas is pregnant with her second child, and I had started making a quilt for her even before I found out she's pregnant, but it worked out that I was already making a quilt for her. And once again, I have my tag here. This is the Geo Gems Quilt by Emily Dennis of Quilty Love. I absolutely adore this quilt. It's a 60 by 75 inches throw size. I have to do the binding. That's the only step left. I actually quilted with pink thread. I'm so pleased with it. Hi Oreo. Do you like the quilt? It was so much fun to put these colors together. I had purchased a half-yard bundle with some peach color fabric, like these dark reds, and then this fabric is what I use for the same friend. She has a 3-year-old daughter now. When the kid was about 1, I made her a dress in that strawberry fabric. So it was so fitting to use part of that fabric in some of the blocks. So, you know, it's like a story. All right, Oreo, this does not belong to you. What are you doing? Thankfully, I have to wash this before I gift it to them. So all the cat hair that Oreo is purposefully adding to the quilt will be washed away. All right, this is not a shower, Oreo. You need to leave. And this cute little peach polka dot fabric is the back of the quilt. I'm so pleased with this. This is the first time I followed a pattern and made like proper blocks and everything. Otherwise, I just do squares or whatever is easy, basically. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed all the knitting, quilting, spinning content. I hope I've done a good job of putting this video together. Do let me know if you're participating in Tour de Fleece. Are you spinning for something? What are you knitting on? If you're in the northern hemisphere and it's hot where you are, what are you actually knitting on? I need ideas so that I can like get back to my knitting. Somehow it's completely escaping me. I'm unable to wear even my summer knits. It's that hot. So I've just been wearing things I've sewn. This is actually an Upton dress that I made a few years ago, I think now, and I can see some errors in my sewing, but clearly they haven't bothered me until now, so there's no reason they need to start bothering me. But yeah, I've not been able to wear my knitting at all, and I'm actually looking forward to some cooler days because I finished 2 garments and I really want to wear them. But yeah, I have a lot of knitting planned for the fall. Oh, I didn't really mention anywhere, but I'm going to Rhinebeck this year again. Mel, Salma and I decided very suddenly that we want to do Rhinebeck, and so we booked our accommodation and I'm gonna drive there. I think I'm driving on the Thursday night. I don't remember what we decided we'd do on the Friday. Saturday we'll be at Rhinebeck, maybe Sunday as well if we have to purchase stuff. Usually Sundays work out better. So I'm also in outfit planning mode. I was thinking that I could make a dress and then I could wear it with my Aura vest, the Irene Lynn vest in green. But there is a lot of time between now and October, so maybe I'll come up with something else. So yeah, I have started fall planning where it's really hard to actually do anything with the heat, which is why I feel like I've been focusing a lot more on quilting and spinning in general, is because it's less stuff on my lap. And though quilting does require a lot of I sweat when I quilt a little bit. Anyway, that being said, what I'm saying is I have a lot of plans for knitting, and I hope I get some of my current whips done a bit, so I can share it with you. And I am also getting in the mood to bring out some of the winter garments that I'd started towards the end of the winter season in 2024 and stopped working on them because it was too hot. So I need to finish them before I start new projects. I feel like there have been a lot of whips accumulating, and at some point I start getting overwhelmed with the number of whips, and then I start tackling them, just like I finished the Lotus Lake Tea. So I'm hoping I pick up, there's one sweater that I was knitting for Biljit that I should pick it up and finish. I'm good at finishing sweaters for him, so I should do that. But yeah, let me know what your knitting is looking like, and I would really I mean, I enjoy reading your comments, so I would be interested in knowing what you're currently knitting on. And those of you in the southern hemisphere, I hope you're getting some good knitting time. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. And I had fun making this video in bits, and it's going to be a fun exercise putting it together. But I was also thinking that I might do how much I craft in a week vlog, like just record my crafting in a week, because I feel like it seems like I get a lot done, but I think it's a lot because I start multiple projects and they're in different progress levels, and then I just finish a bunch of stuff and it looks like I finished, but like things have been started months ago. So I feel like maybe what I craft in a week vlog would be a nice thing to do. I always enjoy watching when others make those videos to see what their day looks like and stuff. So I haven't decided. I'm not a very like neat person, so I feel like a vlog with the camera always showing the mess I've made is not aesthetically pleasing. It wouldn't go as per YouTube vlog standards, but I'll see what I can figure out, and I'll try. It's going to be a challenge, but maybe a fun challenge. So yeah, let me know if you have any ideas and what kind of content you'd like to see from me. But for now, before I go off on another tangent, thank you for watching. Stay safe, happy crafting, and see you next time. Bye.